So, we're live. We're continuing to talk about 17 ways to make yourself happy. This is one of them. Look at this. This is out in the middle of Spain. So this is the Algarve area of Spain. This is as you cross from Faro. So go along the motorway from Faro Airport the other way, other than Albufeira. You cross over to Spain, over the Guadiana River. And this is a little place called Isla Canela off of Ayamonte. Now, what do we know about Isla Canela? Well, Isla Canela means islands of cinnamon. So cinnamon islands, this is where the Moroccan spices used to be brought. If I can flip this round, possibly. No, that's the camera gone off. And let's put that back on. Let's see if we can flip you around and let you see. Jump into settings, jump into camera, and jump into this one. Look at that. You don't need to see me, are you? Isla Canela, as we can see here. Beautiful area, beautiful beach. But this is where I come along. There's a lot of people fishing now. It's golden sandy beaches. I was actually quite surprised when I came along here that it said it could hold, just at this other end of the beach, it could hold 6,000 people. And it's like, I'll be lucky if you've actually seen 600 on here at any one point at some of the sections. So it's a very undiscovered area. And everybody out fishing here as well. So what's your go-to place? Where's your mentors? So that's number 3 for today, is get a role model. So get a role model, what do I mean by that? Well, role models are people that you look up to. Let's look at some of the examples. Whether you're seeking career success or inner happiness, role models and mentors can show us the right path. Well, Jim Rohn often said it, success breeds clues. And success leaves clues as well. You know, we always use that phrase. Find someone who overcome obstacles to feeling happy, and think of someone you admire who is wildly happy. What mindsets or empowering beliefs do they allow them to feel happy? You might also consider getting a results coach who can provide you with tips on how to feel happy, as well as increase fulfillment in your journey itself in personal and professional life. It's not just about your professional life, it's about your personal life as well. You would want role models. Tony Robbins, as an example, a role model who learned how to feel happy. He came up with the 5 concepts behind 5 to Thrive. And just after he's been kicked out of his house by his angry mother on Christmas Eve. So I think that's one of the reasons. Let me see if I could flip this camera around again and get you back in the shot. There's no see out here with the sunshine like this. Jump into settings, jump into camera, and we are back in the game. Here we are, back in the business. Back in the business of here. Back in the picture. I am ringing. So, what allows me to come out here on a day like this, on a week like this? Time and money freedom. That's really what it comes down to. I started 30 years ago, built a big property portfolio. As a result, I was quite fortunate to have these choices to make to come out when I want to. Obviously, the kids are no longer at school now, so we see that as an opportunity to come out off season when the things are good. But it's definitely about getting role models, making sure you're in a position to do that. Remember, Tony Robbins was left with no high school, no money, no home, no longer an option. The action plan of feeling happy was born. Tony used his own life to expand over the years. I've had loads of role models over the years, and people I'd look up to. I mean, you'll know most of them anyway. Alan Sugar, Richard Branson, Keith Cunningham. Everybody talks about Rich Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. But did you know that Rich Dad was actually Keith Cunningham? He was the first person to actually start this with Kiyosaki. I believe they fell out years ago. Let me wipe my eyes again. I'm sweating buckets here. I believe they fell out years ago in the beginning, and the rest is history. So Keith Cunningham is never credited with Rich Dad Poor Dad, but he actually came up with the concept, and I'm not really sure what Robert Kiyosaki did. Maybe he didn't do something that was gentlemanly conduct, and used a system that wasn't really his and adapted it to what he wanted. Yeah. Good afternoon, James. How are you? Nice to hear you on here. How's the weather over in the UK? I hope it's nice and sunny like here, but it's absolutely toasting, sweating buckets, enjoying myself. But this is what it comes, you know, number 3, as I said, 17 ways to make you feel happy. Number 3 is definitely find role models, find people that have paved the way, have trodden the path that you want to trod and you want to go, because they will always know the answers to what you want to know. Some of them you might have to pay, you know, some of them you have to pay to learn that, but I don't see any problem with that. I mean, I paid thousands over the years. Some of the courses I've been on are about 5,000, some are 20,000. You know, it just depends on who you're speaking to and what course you're on, and what you're going to benefit of it. But what I've got out of this over the years has been 100-fold, millionfold, I suppose, when it comes down to it. What I've got out of it, choosing the right people, the right time to get you through that process. To the people I'm reading books of now, Gerald Ratner, Reinvent Yourself. So Gerald Ratner's are excellent. If anybody doesn't know Gerald was the head of Ratner's Jewellery back in, you know, he built the huge multi-million-pound empire on the jewellery business back in the 1980s to the dizzy heights, and then all of a sudden he just, I think the media was gunning for him, to be honest. All of a sudden he made a remark at one of the directors of the Institute meeting and said all his stuff was just basically crap, and media picked up on it and destroyed him overnight. Lost everything, pushed out the company. I'm past his bit on his depression years. 7 years he spent in a depressed state, and then he went on to start his own health business, and with a £200 unit and an industrial site in London, and a dream and a vision. And he sold that to everybody, and I think it was within 3 or 4 years he actually sold the company for 3.9 million. Yeah, 200 quid within about 2 or 3 years to 3.9 million he sold it for. I mean, what can a guy like that teach you, Gerald Ratner? So he's all about reinvention. He's all about the rise and fall, you know, and rise again. And the other one as well, I'm now starting to get into. Never even knew about him before, to be honest, is Grant Cardone. I didn't have a clue who this guy was, but apparently he's very successful in real estate. And after reading his books and beginning to read his books and watching some of his podcasts and what he's saying, he does exactly what I do. It's just that he thinks a bit bigger and a bit more out of the box, and he's a bit more courageous in what he does, and he's got a lot more appetite for success in terms of what he does as well. Learning a lot from that. 2 opportunities I missed in the past. I had a Fife Employment Gazette before jobs were a thing, and Fife Employment Gazette was a product of all the jobs in one place. And then 6 months later, the UK Employment Gazette came out on the shelves, and I was no longer, never even started it, to be honest. I went through the process. I think in hindsight, I should have thought bigger. Then the internet came along, the UK Employment Gazette then became Indeed and places like that. So, you know, missed opportunity for myself. Another one was lettings247.com, where I allowed everybody to advertise their properties for let throughout Scotland on one portal. This was years ago, way before Airbnb. So, opportunity, see it as it comes, think bigger, out the box. Who knows, Lettings 24/7 probably could have been an Airbnb, and the rest would have been history. But great learning curves for me, taught me a lot. Role models teach you a lot as well, and I think that's important. So, you know, kind of, who are your role models? I'd be interested to know that. Who are your role models? What have they taught you? What books do you think are the best to read for these role models? What courses do you think are the best to go on for these role models? give them a shout out, tag them in these posts, and I'll look into them as well. You know, after all, it's about sharing the knowledge and information. A rising tide lifts all ships. It's not about yourself. It's not about everyone else. It's about everyone together, helping each other, and it is that rising tide lifts all ships to make that happen. So I'd be interested to know your thoughts on it and your role models as well. And bye bye from beautiful sunny Spain. Bye bye for now.